Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Bitcoin Brief, the show where me and Q&A catch up every 2 weeks to talk about Bitcoin, privacy, open source, keeping your Bitcoin secure, and the news and software updates that matter. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting Ungovernable Misfits, and a big thank you to Foundation Devices for supporting the show. If you haven't already checked them out, go to foundation.xyz. They make cypherpunk tools for fuckwits, and anyone can use this, even me. If you have any questions or you want to reach out, feel free and I'll be happy to go through things with you. For anything super technical, I'll pass you on to Q. If you want to buy one of these incredible passports, use the code Ungovernable. It will get you a discount and it will let them know that I'm shilling. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to the Cake Wallet team. Not only are they supporting this show, but they're also bringing out some incredible features. For those of you who actually use Bitcoin and actually care about their privacy and security, Cake Wallet make it incredibly simple for you to live outside of the traditional financial system. You can use Cake Pay within the app to buy gift cards for food, petrol, and whatever else you might need day to day. You can use silent payments, and of course, you can use Monero. You can connect both Bitcoin and Monero nodes, use coin control, and this team are constantly innovating, and I'm really excited to be working with them. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, but check them out at cakewallet.com, download the APK, or start using this today on Mac, Windows, Linux, iPhone, or of course your Android device. Enjoy the show.
Good morning.
Bonjour, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, other than screaming at your mouse?
Doing all right, yeah. Just I think the battery's dying on my mouse, so it's being a bit temperamental at the moment. But otherwise, if that's the biggest problem I've got in my life right now, then things are going all right.
Yeah, you're doing all right if a mouse running out of battery is the biggest problem. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, how's things with you? You still fighting fires?
Yeah, I've got bigger problems than mouse batteries at the moment, but
Okay.
hopefully getting to the other side in the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks is my hope. And I can focus on mouses and other little things that will peeve me. But yeah, it's annoying because there's like nothing I can talk about, but
Yeah.
all just one of those things where everything comes at the same time and it's incredibly stressful, but we'll get through it. It's all good. We'll win.
Good. Glad to hear it. We're both on a short timescale, tight timescale, should I say, today, aren't we? We've got like 45 minutes tops because I'm on school run duty today, so I need to run out the house frantically in about 45 minutes. So it's going to be a short one. So let's dive right into it. I've got one bit of AOB just before we hit the news, and it's a Passport Prime update from Zach. He posted it over on Twitter and on the community forum, but I figured it's not that long of an update. I was just going to read it out verbatim so people don't need to go and sit and read it, just so people know where we're at, because the elephant in the room is that, we thought we were going to be shipping by now, and clearly we are not. There's been many hurdles along the way. So yeah, I'm just going to read Zach's message just so they know where we're at. To our Passport Prime Early Access customers, we appreciate your continued patience as our foundation team works to get the devices into your hands. It's taken longer than we thought it would, and while we still don't have an exact date, we are much closer now and are aiming to begin shipping in the coming weeks. Below is a detailed update of where we are from a hardware and a software perspective. While Passport Prime will be the third device Foundation has created, it is an entirely new, first-generation device running a brand new operating system, KeyOS, and new hardware architecture. It's the first of its kind personal security platform that will enable open permissionless developer ecosystem for third-party apps. It's been an enormous effort to build KeyOS, ensure that it's secure, and create the first-party apps that are shipping with Passport Prime from launch. This week, we officially finished our security audit by the guys in Key Labs, who we think are the best in the business. We're going to publish the final report next week and are finishing up implementing the few suggestions that came out from the audit to ensure that Passport Prime is the most secure device on the market. Completing this audit is a major milestone and was one of the items blocking us from being able to finalize the version 1.0 bootloader as part of the primary KeyOS release. In the link that will be in the show notes, Zach shares a screenshot of the conclusion page below, but he also wanted to share the last sentence of the report because I think it's quite a good highlight, really. This results in a highly secure hardware wallet architecture that exceeds industry standards for protecting users' digital assets. With Passport Prime and KeyOS, we're aiming to not only match industry standards, ledger, I like that bit, but exceed it. Again, I'm still quoting Zach here. I'm proud to say that we have done that and the security audit backs us up there.
Mm-hmm.
So now that the audit is complete, the team is rigorously testing the firmware update process so that when you unbox your Passport Prime and connect it to Envoy via the Quantum Link Bluetooth connection, it will seamlessly update to the latest available KeyOS firmware. And once we've internally deemed that the firmware update is bulletproof, we're going to give the factory the go-ahead to provision the devices with KeyOS and complete the final assembly with packaging. In the meantime, we will, of course, be squashing bugs with the first-party apps and working to complete all of the Bitcoin app features. Since this is the early access batch, we do expect that there will be some minor bugs or some incomplete features across apps, but we want to ensure that 1, there are absolutely no bugs that will affect device security, goes without saying, and number 2, that the Bitcoin app has parity with the Passport core experience, and it supports all of the same software, wallets, etc., etc. And Zach signs off to say he's going to continue to post regular updates and will also publish a video walking through the latest version of KeyOS, and he asks for comments on the forum. Again, link will be in the show notes. So, hope that's going to be a valuable update to people. Again, I appreciate that it might be frustrating that there is no concrete dates at the moment. We've always tried to walk that fine line between giving the most accurate, up-to-date information as we can at any given moment, estimating as best we can based on the available information at the time. But with such a big project where we are literally starting from the ground up from all aspects, like as we've seen this year, it's a bit of a fool's errand to try and make those estimates. And, maybe that's a point of reflection that we need to take from this is that we just need to be more broad with our estimations because a project of this size, timelines inevitably split. And unfortunately, that might mean that some people just won't pre-order, which is fine.
That's fine.
People like to have definitive dates. And at least by going forward, if we don't give specific or more specific shipping targets, that we avoid people pre-ordering and then having to deal with multiple pushbacks and getting disappointed. So, learning curve for us, but hopefully by cards on the table update from Zach to say, look, we appreciate that we're behind, but we're doing everything we can. And here's the latest state of play that we're going to delay any fears that people have that think that there's anything malicious going on here, which couldn't be further from the truth. That the team is grinding fucking hard day and night to get this out. So looking forward to that video as well. And obviously I'll be publishing that from my socials as well as all of the usual Foundation social streams as well. Hopefully it should be ready by the time that this podcast launches as well. If it is ready before, I'll drop the link for you, Max, and we can include it in the show notes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, I know what it's like when you're waiting for something and you're desperate to get it in your hands. It's frustrating, but I also know that you guys are doing everything that you can. I know that you're working around the clock. They're doing their best, guys. They should be with you. What do you reckon now?
We appreciate everybody's patience, and we get why people are frustrated. Just to reiterate, I don't want to push people towards asking for a refund, but just to remind, if all of this is not good enough for you, from day one we've had a no questions asked returns policy. So if it ever gets too much for you, just drop us an email and we'll refund you the full amount. It doesn't matter whether you paid in fiat or Bitcoin, you'll get the full amount back.
Nice. Cool.
On to the news. We had at first glance, it seemed like a large-scale supply chain attack that could have affected quite a lot of the crypto industry. It was, I believe, reported by one of the guys at Ledger, and basically it's an NPM supply chain attack. So I think this came out last week, where basically an attacker had compromised some packages to do with NPM. I forget what NPM stands for now, but it's kind of like a popular tool used in a lot of software development. And there was a developer essentially that had not God mode access, but, was a publisher of these big NPM packages, and he goes by the name QIX. He was compromised by a phishing attack where he clicked the link and had some malicious software installed onto his machine. And then the NPM packages, when they were published from his machine, anybody that then used those NPM dependencies to build their software, of which there are a fucking shit ton, not just in the crypto industry, this is a lot of software packages were using this type of thing. Basically, the malware that was getting pushed was, I think it was targeted mainly at Ethereum. So the stealer was not designed for a desktop environment and does not attempt to read any files or install any malware. Rather, it checks if, quote, window.ethereum exists. And if so, it installs hooks or listeners for basically when you're within your app or your website are doing any kind of Ethereum send or receive functionality, the malware would listen for that and then insert malicious addresses and change things.
It's a node package manager.
Thank you very much. Yes, I should have known that, but thank you for fact checking me live on air. That's very helpful.
That's fine.
This vulnerability was picked up. The whole crypto industry like kind of went wild, and every man and his dog in terms of Bitcoin and crypto people were saying, look, we've checked, we're not vulnerable to this. It transpired after the fact that this was caught within an hour and then patched immediately, I presume. And the attack only managed to steal 5 cents worth of Ethereum. So it wasn't a very successful
It's
attack.
half the network.
Yeah, probably due to the fact of how quickly it was caught. So yeah, despite the magnitude of the breach, the attacker appears to have only stolen around 5 cents of ETH, 20 USD of a meme coin, and a whopping 588 US dollars that had a whopping 588 USD of trading volume. So yeah, they got away with basically nothing. But it is, the reason I've included it, because I know it pertains mainly to Ethereum and all the meme coin crap that most people listening to this are not that interested in, myself and I'm sure yourself included, Max, is that it's a stark reminder of the potential vulnerabilities of online wallets, essentially. Like if you're using something that maybe something like MetaMask or a software-based wallet that did have this NPM dependency and it wasn't caught for a number of days or even just a number of hours and it was more widespread, then there could have been a real risk for a significant amount of loss of funds if you're just blind signing from a hot wallet and you're just not paying attention, and you can, without paying attention, addresses are being swapped out, etc., then this is still a real risk. But thankfully, that wasn't the case in this scenario. But yeah, to some takeaways, I guess, that you can learn from this in the future is, number one, use a hardware wallet for any significant amounts of funds. They do a lot of these checks for you. Admittedly, the hardware wallet wouldn't protect you if it was the destination address that's being swapped out, because obviously the hardware wallet can't kind of verify that. That would be something that would be displayed to you on the software side of things and that you'd have to have a visual check of. But the hardware side of things would obviously keep an eye on where the change is going and the change amounts and the fees that are being spent, etc. So there is a protection there from a hardware side of things, but also just pay attention when you're sending Bitcoin or crypto indeed, because like just have a double check of those addresses, because again, even if you were running this attack, I believe what they were doing was just swapping addresses. So just having a double check of, is the destination address the one that I pasted in, or is it relevant to the QR code that I scanned? Is the change address one of my addresses? Does the fee look correct? Does the amounts look correct, etc.? Just use it as a reminder to take a step back. And you might have done 100 transactions in the last couple of weeks, but that doesn't mean to say that this one isn't the one that gets you pwned. So
yeah,
always remain vigilant.
Yeah.
Next on the list, we covered this a little bit when it first came out, I believe back in July, but it's reared its very, very ugly head once again. There has been a reminder about the expansion of the Patriot Act over in the US, but as we know, when the US sneezes, the world catches a cold. So quick reminder on what's going on here. So the Patriot Act was signed into law after September 11th by Judge Bush. It effectively grants the US government special powers to bypass constitutional protections in the face of terrorism, including warrantless surveillance and the suspension of due process rights that have led to the unjust imprisonment and relentless torture of hundreds of people around the world. Since 2001, Patriot Act has significantly shaped the financial world, basically mandates the strict application of KYC frameworks, tightening AML laws, increasing the sharing of sensitive information between both private and public entities. Again, we talk about all this stuff all the time, and the Patriot Act was a big catalyst for that way back when. But the kind of update to this news piece this week is that the FinCEN director, Andrea Gacki, confirmed during a recent FinCEN hearing, I believe in Congress, that the Treasury is working on finalizing the so-called mixer rule, which uses the Patriot Act to prohibit private transactions in cryptocurrency. And at the same time, during this hearing, the representative Nunn of Iowa let slip that the House appears to continue on the Special Measures to Fight Modern Threats Act. Ooh, catchy. A Patriot Act digital asset legislation that's long been thought dead, which would solidify the Treasury's use of Section 311 to prohibit specific transactions. Quick recap of the back in July thing. The White House has asked the Treasury to finalize this so-called mixer rule, which was, I believe, from the Biden era regulation piece that would outlaw pretty much every mechanism for privacy on any public blockchain for US Americans.
Yeah.
And in this week's FinCEN oversight hearing, Gaki confirmed that the Treasury is currently working on finalizing the rule. Some nice quotes here. You won't be surprised to hear these. We are seeing more and more illegal transactions being done in crypto. Representative Liccardo claimed in the hearing, citing a study which found that of 111 examined fraud cases, 91% allegedly involved so-called decentralized finance, quote DeFi. The concern here, according to Liccardo, arrives from the pseudonymity of the transactions. This is a quote. How exactly are you going to do your job when transactions move through DeFi? So here's where it gets really crazy. I just want to pass a quick reminder on this mixer rule. Basically, the Treasury's mixer rule is not so much a mixer rule, rather
a usage rule.
Yeah, exactly. An all-encompassing blanket ban on any software or behavior that grants users of public blockchains any form of transactional privacy. As such, the rule would deem the following software and behaviors a primary money laundering concern, meaning that such transactions would end up blocked by centralized intermediaries and could put an end to the development of privacy software, even for non-custodial wallets under the threat of criminal liabilities. These include, make sure you're sitting down for these guys and make sure you haven't got anything breakable nearby. Number one, the pooling or aggregating of cryptocurrency from multiple persons, wallets, addresses, or accounts. So coin joins or pay joins, anything like that, Stonewall X2, all of that would be deemed banned essentially. Number two, using programmatic or algorithmic code to coordinate, manage, or manipulate the structure of a transaction. Again, could be any form of coin join, any form of collaborative transaction. Splitting cryptocurrency for transmittal and transmitting cryptocurrency through a series of independent transactions.
What? That's literally every single fucking spend unless you're spending an entire UTXO.
Exactly. You're starting to see the complete absurdity of this, Max. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Amazing rule.
It gets worse. Number four, creating and using single-use wallets, addresses, or accounts, and sending cryptocurrency through such wallets, addresses, or accounts through a series of independent transactions, e.g., using a Bitcoin wallet.
So, okay, that's fine.
That is not fine, Peter. That is not fine at all.
That is the opposite of fine. Completely crazy. I'll just finish the list. Number five, exchanging between types of cryptocurrency or other digital assets, any form of swap. And finally, number six, facilitating user-initiated delays in transactional activity. So that could be anything like Pando TX that we talked about on the last brief. It could be Ricochet. It could just be broadcasting a transaction later on because, I don't know, for whatever reason. It's just completely bonkers, mate. There's one final quote here, which I think will cap this off nicely. Notably, the mixer's rules suggestions on cryptocurrency swaps, transaction delays, splitting, and the creation of single-use wallets or accounts would even put users under suspicion with authorities, potentially ending in criminal liability, similar to how transaction structuring, sometimes known as smurfing, is deemed a federal crime in traditional finance, referring to the intentional breakup of transactions that fall below the $10,000 currency transaction reporting requirement. In traditional finance, smurfing carries federal prison sentence of up to 5 years, even if the money transferred did not stem from illicit transactions.
Amazing.
So basically, yeah, if this passes and you use a modern Bitcoin wallet that gives you a fresh address each time, you are a fucking criminal, straight to jail.
No smurfing.
Interesting times ahead.
You must fill in the forms. You will give us your details. It's also gross.
Yeah, gross is a great way to decipher that, I guess. Yeah, it's just completely bonkers.
Me and John were talking about this quite recently. It's like a lot of the time I want to just switch off from most of the Bitcoin world and everything that's going on because it's all so pointless and childish and pathetic at the moment. The arguments and the conversations that are being had are so dull to me. that I think you could only be interested if you have nothing else going on in life. If you have no other work, you have no children, you have no family, you have nothing. You live in a basement, you sit eating Cheetos, and you sit on Twitter arguing about what fucking Node software to run or something like that. It's so pathetic, it makes me want to walk away. But then I hear this type of thing and I'm like, actually, we do have something to fight for. We do have a reason that we keep sitting down and shuffling our lives around to have these conversations and keep people updated. Because if you spend any time in the traditional fiat world and try and do anything with any level of privacy without somebody sniffing up your arsehole, just trying to get every bit of information and disrupting your life, you realize how important Bitcoin really is. And it's such a stark contrast when you use it the way that we use it, where you can send any amount to anyone without any interference and no one can stop it. When you contrast that to the rest of the way that the world works, it is bliss. It's such a lovely and powerful and amazing thing when that's trying to be taken away from not just us, but our children. That's why you've got to keep sitting down. That's why you've got to keep fighting for this and doing what we can rather than just walk away. Because I think a lot of people are in that stage where they're like, fuck this.
Yeah, agreed. Couldn't have put it better myself, really. In fact, this will be linked in the show notes. Marty Bent on his newsletter had some good commentary on this that pivots off what you just said and summarizes it all really well. We shouldn't have to live in a world where standards cater to the lowest common denominator, in this case criminals, that make things worse off for the overwhelming majority of the population. It's crazy that this even has to be said. The onus is on law enforcement to be so good at their jobs that they are able to prevent crimes from happening before they occur and effectively bring criminals to heel after they commit crimes. It shouldn't be on a neutral protocol, and the industry being built on top of that, when used effectively, provides people with a stable monetary system that respects user privacy and equips them with the tools to receive and spend in a way that provides them with peace of mind. Why should everyone have to suffer because of a few bad apples? Isn't that letting the terrorists win?
Yeah, good shout, Marty. Yeah, it exactly is that. It's letting the terrorists win. The unfortunate truth is that the terrorists are the ones writing the laws.
Yeah, again, amen to that. Co-sign that. On to the boost, like I say, short rip this week, so just a couple of news articles, so let's hit the boosts. First one, Patriotic 0.02 XMR. Proud of this team and what they've accomplished. It's mind-boggling. Sound Coffee, UGMF, and Watchman Privacy are all I listen to anymore. With work, I can't even keep up with those. Well, we appreciate your support as always, sir. Thank you very much.
We do. And everything you do in the background. He actually not only is sending in the XMR chats and boosts, but he's also gathering them each episode so that we can read them out and putting them all nicely together for us. So thank you, mate. We appreciate you.
Indeed. He also sent a second one as well for 0.04 XMR. Max, Savage Mode is, and I believe this is in relation to last Friday's Freedom Tech Friday. He's put it in the boost list for this one, so I'll read it anyway. Aeroplane mode on Graphene OS Pixel paired with a GLI Net Maudi router, Silent Link SIM, and Blue Merle on GitHub for IMEI spoofing, which sounds complicated.
It does.
But he said, but he did cap it off to say, but I'm not a masochist, so I take an iPhone to
work. I like that.
Agreed, and likewise.
Yeah. It's good to know what Savage Mode is, though, in case you ever need it. Until then, take your iPhone to work. I like that.
Yeah.
WebWipe with 0.018 XMR. Thank you, WebWipe. WebWipe is hosting a privacy meetup in Nashville, Tennessee on September the 20th. Join us at Disk Insider, located at 1235 Martin Street from 6 to 10 p.m. We'll have presentations and demos on BTC tools, including Ashigaru, Boltzmann, and Dexes and more. God, they're nailing it. They're absolutely nailing it.
Really are.
Yeah.
They really are. That sounds like a dreamy night. Yeah. Nashville, beers on flow.
Disk Insider.
Country music, talking about Ashigaru and privacy shit.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
I've never been to Nashville. I'd like to go. I've told the story many times, but the last time that I went to America, I was held at gunpoint by their lovely armed forces, and I didn't appreciate that, and I haven't been back since.
Yeah, that's not something that would make you want to rush back, I guess.
Not particularly. I didn't feel welcomed. Last time I went to Spain, I was welcomed with a beer and some laughter and hugs. America, a barrel pointed at my face. So maybe one day. If I did go, I think I would go and see John first and all of his family, and I'd go and give them all a big hug. And then I'd probably go to Nashville. Oh, no, I'd go to Lake Satoshi. That would be it. John, Lake Satoshi, Nashville. That'd be it.
What state is Lake Satoshi in?
Michigan? Langsburg, Michigan, I think it is.
Michigan.
I don't know where that is. In America somewhere. It's all the same, isn't it?
All right. Well, if you're in Nashville, get yourself down to Diskin Cider on September the 20th, 6 till 10 p.m. Shadowy Super Badger streamed 2,400 sats. Thank you very much, sir. And then Late Stage Hoddle says, or he boosted with 5,000 sats, says he's never even heard of Nando's. But you see, there are many American locations. Well, I will be damned.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I bet the menu is shitty here compared to there. Boneless thighs sounded great, but so does hot chicken.
Yeah.
I struggle with sandwiches and wings / ribs nowadays with the moustache. Always been a fan of boneless chicken anyway.
Oh, wings is an amazing thing to eat. It's such a delicious treat. What are your thoughts on the wings?
I like wings, but I always get a bit frustrated that it's a lot of work for not a lot of meat.
It's about how you do it. It's a skill thing.
There's a soundbite for you.
Yeah. It's not the amount of meat, it's how you do it.
Yes, it's how you work it.
Yeah, it's how you work it. There's a wing place near me which has become like a family favourite at the moment. They do this salt and pepper deep fried wings.
Oh.
No, sorry, lemon pepper deep fried wings, and then they do like a teriyaki, like a spicy teriyaki wing and some other bits, and it's fucking outstanding. It's so good. So I'm getting chubby.
Sounds good. Can't wait to try it one day when I finally get a flight out to Antarctica.
Yeah, it will be soon. BTC on board says LNhance or CTV. Oh, hashtag LNhance or hashtag CTV.
I think that's their username.
Oh, I was thinking, like, is that a I don't know that that's a question. That's just their stance on life.
They boosted with a thumbs up, but I think what you just read was their username.
Right, what a prick. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Wartime does 2 dynamites. Thank you, Wartime. And Turkey sends 500 sats with no message. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the boosters.
Indeed. Thank you as always. Before we hit a couple of releases, I wanted to shoehorn in a quick question that we had initially for Freedom Tech Friday, but as you may have heard from the last brief, we are starting to pick out some of the Bitcoin-focused questions from that list because, well, if you listen to Freedom Tech Friday, you know that this list is kind of like, it never ends, essentially. So we're trying to pick them off in some of the other shows if they're more kind of focused on Bitcoin or Monero. So I need to pass the mantle over to Seth as well for the Monero Monthly to take over some of those questions as well.
Yeah, good idea.
We never, ever get anywhere near the end of it.
No, and I'm going to fuck it up even more just quickly and push things back even further because BTC WRESTLE has just sent me through some stats again. He has said, working on getting the stats, 8 Mithrandir is sending me the BISQ 7-day trade stats, Ashigaru Whirlpool summary, unspent capacity 34.60 BTC, unspent value of $4.01 million, pool count 254 in the 2.5 million sat pool and 113 in the 25 million sat pool. This has increased by 0.75 BTC since the last Bitcoin brief. Robosats exchange summary, 6 online Robosats coordinators, 6 enabled coordinators, 16 public buy orders, 56 public sell orders. Book liquidity is 84,642,000 sats. Today's active robots is 1420. 24-hour non-KYC premium is 1.88. The 24-hour contracted volume is 0.1 BTC, which isn't a lot, but interesting to get the stats nonetheless. We'll get you the BISQ stuff ASAP. Followed up with Ape this morning with the BISQ stuff. Hopefully he'll send it. If not, then I'm shit out of luck. Well, we are shit out of luck. Thank you to Ape for trying and BT WRESTLE. Thanks for pulling through and sending us the sats. We appreciate you, mate.
Cheers, guys. All right. Back to the question. This one comes from Dr. Hacks on Noster. They say, as a Lightning node runner myself, I 100% understand the problems of self-hosting. What do you think would make it more accessible? Alby's solution of just paying someone to host your node for you, and then he says in brackets, doesn't have to be Alby, others could get into the same business and provide some competition. So he's referring to basically like
MYNYMBOX.
Yeah, MYNYMBOX, etc. Nice. Then he continues, self-hosting platforms like Start9, Unohost, and others to lower the technical burden question. Do you feel mobile apps like Zeus play a part here? To be clear, I'm referring to the Lightning node running directly on your phone. It can't receive payments unless the app is open, and it doesn't have a Lightning address. I believe you can actually do that, but it frequently works well for in-person payments and is entirely self-custody. And beyond the technical woes of hosting and the technical/operational issues of falling behind on chain data and the like, there are also the headaches of channel management. Maybe this one is not a big deal so long as you only open channels with big clearinghouses like Async, etc. I open channels with plebs and I see channels go inactive sometimes. So far, I've always been able to poke the operator to get it sorted, but my point is that most people are going to be looking for a payment system, not a hobby. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear your take on these things. I have my own ideas, but they all have various drawbacks. Plus, I haven't personally tried Alby Hub or Start9 yet, so I don't have strong opinions about those. I think you kind of, in a roundabout way, kind of summarized and answered your own question. Most people, the most viable alternative is something like Phoenix, where it's classified as self-custody. It has some trade-offs in terms of privacy, although, again, as we've said on previous briefs, like there are fixes afoot that could fix that with like trampoline routing, etc., and blinded paths. But for now, there are trade-offs. But obviously, it makes it easy to have access to self-custody Lightning with a little bit of trust in Phoenix. Same goes for Zeus. I believe they do the same thing here, and I'm almost certain they have a solution so that you can do offline payments or so that you don't have to have the app open. But when you kind of think about it, like for most plebs, if you haven't got a business, if you're going to be receiving Lightning, the chances are you're interacting with somebody at that point. So it's like, hey, pay me back for dinner. So it's not really that much of an issue to be like, here's an invoice or here's my Lightning address. And if you do need to have your app open, then just have it open at that time. Obviously, if you're running a web shop or something like that, it's a completely different kettle of fish, and you need something like a BTC Pay server, be that hosted by something like MYNYMBOX or self-hosting BTC Pay server on a Start9 or something similar. Those are the trade-offs. It's either you pay with your time and your headaches and you self-host it, or you pay with a little bit of trust and you go for something like Zeus Pay, or you go for something like Phoenix. That's the state of affairs right now. We've spoken a little bit around some other scaling solutions that have, or promise at least, to kind of remove some of these limitations, especially around like node management and channel management. And these are things like Arc or Spark. Again, I'm not saying that they don't have different trade-offs, but from where I see it, at least right now, in the early days, they seem to make better trade-offs than self-custody Lightning or semi-hosted something Lightning. Well, not semi-hosted, but like trusted Lightning via something like Zeus Pay or via Phoenix. But again, that sort of stuff is at the fringe at the moment. We talked about it in Riga, so it's not exactly vaporware. It is actively being built out. But yeah, hopefully that kind of summarizes it. It's just a case of trade-offs. Lightning is a very complex beast, and the trade-off is a little bit of trust or with your time. And I don't think, unless there's any significant changes to how Lightning operate, I don't really see those coming anytime soon. Then it's just a decision to be made by the user.
Yeah, I'd just say it's not the setup that I would like to have in the future, but Alby's been pretty good. We use the Alby Hub for a lot of the ungovernable stuff, and we were using it to take donations for Ashigaru and Free Samurai and a lot of our stuff that we do or trying to do with Noster and things like that. And I have to give it to them. Like, it's been pretty stable and pretty decent. I think I pay like maybe 20,000 sats a month or something like that. So it's not like it's free, but it's been pretty stable and pretty good. Whereas most of my stuff that I've been self-hosting, no matter how big a channel I open, no matter what I fucking do, I can't send large payments through. It's always a problem. So I don't know. I would say for someone who doesn't want to have any hassle, I can't really say a bad word against Alby Hub. It's been pretty good.
I self-host their software on my node for a different purpose, obviously, but I've had a good experience with it. They seem to ship updates fairly frequently and seem to have a good team behind them as well. So yeah, I would co-sign that. Okay, hope that helps. Dr. Hacks, thank you for your question. Feel free to continue posting the questions. We do like answering on Brief and on Freedom Tech Friday.
Definitely.
All right, we're coming up close to time, so I'm just going to quickly rifle through the updates and releases. Jump in, Max, if Seth covered this on the most recent Monero monthly. I don't know when you recorded, but this update is only 3 days old, so you may not have covered it.
No, we haven't.
Cake Wallet update 5.4.0 has been released, and this is very cool, actually. The main name of the release is literally called Pay Anything. So the biggest new feature called Pay Anything, basically send to any address using whatever crypto you have, as long as both currencies are supported in Cake Wallet. So basically, I guess what this does under the hood is that if you've only got Bitcoin and you're paying a merchant that only accepts Monero,
does the swap.
Yeah, Cake will do the swap magically for you. And I think the reverse is also true as well. Is that right, Max? So if I'm a Cake Wallet user and I only want to fuck with Bitcoin, somebody's paying me and they only want to fuck with Monero or anything else that's supported in Cake, so long as they're spending from Cake, I always receive what I want to receive. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Which is such a nice feature. It's just so slick and seamless, and because they have the swaps and everything all built into their ecosystem, it's a nice seamless experience. And I will just say, my little claim to fame is on our first Monero monthly, this was my request to Seth. This was we need to do this. And whatever it is, 6 months later or 8 months later or whatever it is, they've done it. They do not fuck about.
They don't.
Seriously, they don't fuck around. They just get shit done. And I love it.
I'm guessing that there will be fees involved in this because it's using a swap provider. I'm sure they will communicate that to you as part of the send so that you're not getting rug pulled on fees when you're unknowingly doing a swap under the hood.
Exactly. They'll rip your eyes out on fees and you're going to pay for it. I mean, someone has to pay for Seth to have his massages and everything else, but they'll tell you what they're doing and they're making it simple. There's so many times, like, especially when I first took them on as a sponsor, where people would don't you think it's disgusting that, they charge these fees and you can get better fees elsewhere for swaps and things? It's like, they're a business.
Exactly.
They're providing a service which is seamless and really fucking simple. There are places you can get swaps done cheaper, but you're not going to pay any invoice, QR scan, someone pays in fucking Monero or Litecoin, and that comes now into your Bitcoin wallet, and it's just like all done and easy. You don't have to do anything. Like, if you want to go and fuck around and do everything yourself, like everything else, you want to go and get your bathroom tiled, you can do it yourself, or you can pay someone to do it nicely for you and you don't get your hands dirty. I don't understand people's problem with people having businesses that are trying to be successful. It's a very weird, it seems to be only really in the Bitcoin world, and normally a British thing as well. Like, the Americans are always like, yeah, you go girl, you earn those sats. And like in England, it's like, oh, fucking rip my eyes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the lightning question we just had, right? Like, you're paying Phoenix, they take quite high fees, but you're paying for that convenience. If you want to go and do your own channels, yeah, go for it, but you're paying with your time instead. It's exactly the same here. So.
Same with Albi. I'm paying because I can't be asked with the stress.
Exactly.
And it works, so I pay for it.
Pay for specialization. Yeah.
Yes.
Also within this release, they've now got the iOS build now has native Tor built in as well. Very cool. And they also ship some silent payments updates or minor updates and stability improvements as well to improve that functionality. Nice. They've also released Cupcake, quote, your new secret weapon for crypto security. So Cupcake is basically a separate app that turns a secondary device like an old smartphone or tablet into an air-gapped cold storage device. Question the term air-gapped here, but I'll let Seth defend that one. Basically, yeah, it's a separate app that you install on an old phone that you can kill all of the connectivity on.
Yeah.
It holds your private keys. The code of the app is built, obviously, as open source, and it has no ability to broadcast transactions on its own. All it does is you give it transactional information, you sign it on the second phone that has the Cupcake app, and then you pass that back over to to Cake Wallet to then broadcast that with that app, because obviously that app is a more generic app with network permissions, etc., etc. That's a fair, quick summary of it. Is that right, Max?
Yeah, it's kind of like Sentinel, similar sort of thing.
Yeah, good way to do it. Is it a replacement for hardware wallet? I would say no, personally. But does it make sense for people that don't want to buy a hardware wallet or don't need to buy a hardware wallet but have old phones lying around like we all do? Then yeah, great. You know, it will be a good alternative. Maybe don't put your life saved it.
If you're using Monero or alternative currencies, or you're not using massive amounts, or you're in a country where it could be dangerous for you to have a hardware wallet sent to you, and there's lots and lots of reasons why you might use this. For my personal situation, I'm just going to use a passport, but there are many, many people that will benefit from this, so it's good to see it.
Yeah, there'll be a cracking blog post linked from Henry at the Cake Wallet team that'll be linked in the show notes for this. There's lots of videos, images and stuff. Goes into the ins and outs and best practices of using it as well. So they've done a good job with that release. Well done, guys.
Nice work.
Number 4 on the list, Craig Raw of Sparrow Wallet was what I was about to say, has released a new piece of software called Frigate Electrum Server. Frigate is an experimental Electrum server testing silent payment scanning with ephemeral client keys. It has 3 goals. Number 1, to provide a proof of concept implementation of the remote scanner approach discussed in BIP 352, which is silent payments. Number 2, to propose an Electrum RPC protocol methods to request and return silent payment information from a server. And number 3, to demonstrate an efficient in-database technique of scanning for silent payment transactions. This is alpha software and should not be used in production. So this is, again, just to reiterate, this is like a proof of concept. He's not running this as part of Sparrow Wallet, and I don't think he plans to offer this as like a public service. It's more a case of, here's how I think people like Cake Wallet that support silent payments could implement this into their back end to improve user experience. I believe it's not designed to be a replacement for something like ElectRS or Fulcrum. I believe it's supposed to be an additional piece of software that works in tandem with something like that.
Okay, interesting.
So hopefully we get some teams like Cake picking this up and pushing it into the real world where people can get to use it and iterate on it. But yeah, hats off to Craig for coming out of the blue and just dropping this one. It's nice.
Shout out to you, Craig Wallet. If that goes any further, well, not even just if it goes any further, he would be an amazing guest to have on Freedom Tech Friday. If we did like maybe a special where we have him on as well, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to have him on anytime. He's Bitcoin royalty in my eyes.
Oh yeah, best of the best.
All right, last one on the list. This is pretty cool and it kind of pulls at my nerdy tech heartstrings a little bit. The Braiins mining team have released Braiins Deck. Did you cover this on the mining show with John?
We didn't actually. We were too busy shitting on Dorsey for like half an hour, so we didn't get to it. So we'll cover it now.
So this is like, basically, it's a less shit block clock.
Okay.
Basically, it's like a little dashboard, similar sort of size to like a Bluetooth speaker sort of thing, with a screen on the front that can show a clock, obviously, in different formats, but also then loads of different Bitcoin metrics. It's going to have weather. You can do alarms. So it is like a multifunctional device, but you can also have all of your nerdy, you can have the price, obviously, you can have hash rate of the pool, network hash rate, stock prices, hash prices.
Who's it come from?
Braiins.
Oh, from Braiins. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they going to get sued?
You can have stocks and commodities on there. So it's like a little nerdy dashboard that you can have on your desk that can also double as a bit of a alarm clock and statistician. Yeah, mempool stats as well, network data.
Nice.
Pretty reasonably priced as well. I believe you can pre-order this for $199 US.
Not bad.
So not too bad. And it's got a proper LCD screen on it, color screen. Just looks like a nice piece that you could have on your desk if you're a turbo nerd like me.
Yeah. Okay, I like it.
If you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, click the link in the show notes. You'll be able to see what it looks like. But yeah, kind of like a Bluetooth speaker size, color screen on the front. Just looks good. You can look at all your Bitcoin stats.
Okay. All right, mate. I know you've got to go and pick up your 15 children from school, so I will let you get on and I will catch you on Friday.
You will indeed, mate. Yep, I'll catch you on Friday. Apologies for the shorter rip and governable people, but normal service will be resumed next time around.
That's fine.
All right.
Love you all.
Speak to you soon, mate.
That's fine.
Before you go, MYNYMBOX.io help keep your online presence hidden. They provide anonymous server hosting solutions, virtual, private, and dedicated servers, domain registration, and DNS parking. They don't require any of your personal information, and you can purchase using Bitcoin, Lightning, or Monero. No personal information required. None. Zero. MYNYMBOX.io. Stay ungovernable.